God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light.
I want to look where nobody has looked before.
The size.
Nothing has been built on its scale before.
It's so big and it's so complex.
Boldly go where physicists haven't had a chance to go before.
One of the control centres for the Large Hadron Colliders.
Any day now, the Large Hadron Collider is going to be turned on. It is 17 miles in circumference. It is the largest machine of science ever built. You could put Manhattan inside the Large Hadron Collider. That's how big it is. 10 billion euros for this fantastic machine.
Opponents fear that in trying to discover the origins of the universe, we could be setting up its destruction. They argue that the machine could create little black holes, which would eventually swallow the Earth.
Have you heard about the scientists conducting experiments with a 1 in 6 million chance of ending the world? Long odds, but still, is it worth the risk?
But for some people, it is actually a major worry.
To say, there is no chance that the LHC presents any danger to the world. It's complete internet nonsense. There's a tiny, minute chance, which would be exciting actually, that you can create these mini black holes.
I have a sort of 0.01% worry that they'll create a real black hole and the entire Earth will disappear in a nanosecond.
Because I'm sure they're going to find out some interesting things about protons, but I would add, I don't give a fuck.
They've taken all necessary precautions.
No, they haven't.
Yes,
but it's
no,
fine.
they
They're taking the necessary precaution of not doing it, though, aren't they?
This machine will take us as close as humanly possible to his or her greatest creation, Genesis. This is a Genesis machine. This machine will recreate some of the nuclear fire that gave birth to the heavens and earth.
Critics say the $9 billion atom smasher is a doomsday machine that could destroy the planet. A group of scientists are mounting a last-minute court challenge to prevent the end of the world as we know it.
Recreate the conditions.
Ruin the whole thing. I mean, this is the catch at the end. Well, because what the theories are saying is that you might create a small black hole here. Now, and I recall from Doctor Who that black holes eat entire planets.
Less than a billionth of a second after the universe began.
Myths are clues to the spiritual potentialities of the human life, and so that we actually feel the rapture of being alive. That's what it's all finally about. The human woman does give birth as the earth gives birth to the plants. She gives nourishment as the plants do. So woman magic and earth magic are the same. They are related. And the personification, then, of this energy which gives birth to forms and nourishes forms is properly female. And so it is in the agricultural world of ancient Mesopotamia, the Egyptian Nile, but also in the earlier planting culture systems that the goddess is the mythic form that is dominant. I'm going to start here in South Turkey, Anatolia as it's called, a little town called Çatalhöyük, where you have agriculture as the base. The goddess is going to be the primary mythological figure, personifying the energies of nature which transform past into future, transforming semen into child. Here is a very early 6000 BC representation of the goddess, and there are a number of traits here that are essential. One is the towering neck. This is the world axis. She is the axis. Here is the bird figure on the top of the neck. She is bird goddess, spiritual goddess. Obviously a human female with the breasts. Planting people in high mountain valleys and later in the great river valleys. The Nile, the Tigris Euphrates, and then over in India, the Indus Valley, and later the Ganges. This is the world of the goddess. All these rivers have goddess names, finally. Here is a sickle of copper from that date, 5000 BC. So these are agricultural people harvesting a grain of some kind. Their tools are not weapons. These are heavy copper tools, and they are used for carpentry and or agriculture. These are peaceful cities. It's only later that the walls begin appearing that indicate raids coming in from outside. The fall of man into the field of time, out of the timeless rapture, you might say, of Eden. It started with a sin, you see. In other words, moving out of the mythological zone, the Garden of Paradise, where there is no time, and where men and women don't even know that they're different from each other. The two are just creatures. And then they eat the apple, the knowledge of the pairs of opposites. And man and woman then cover their shame. They're different. God and man, they're different. You see, with that fall in the garden, nature was regarded as corrupt. There's a myth for you that corrupts the whole world for us. And every spontaneous act is sinful because nature is corrupt and has to be corrected, must not be yielded to. You get a totally different civilization, a totally different way of living according to your myth as to whether nature is fallen or whether nature is itself a manifestation of divinity, and the spirit being the revelation of the divinity that's inherent in nature. Everything in the field of time is dual, past and future, good and evil, dead and alive.